I always love the intro.
I mean, you know what? I always turn the sound starts off,
Right,
and I
right.
always put it on because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like it
yeah.
just gets me in the this like mood.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Hey, everybody. This is John. Welcome to Losing Business. My series with Jeff Gunsberg at Title Connect for all your commercial and residential title needs in 1031. And today, what are you good at? We're talking to Marci Scheinbaum. Marci, it's great to see you again. You've been on the podcast a lot.
Thank
Great
you.
guest, great friend, great at what you do. You're a private chef. Your food's incredible. So let's just kind of get things started by, I think we're in a time, we have been for a while, but I think specifically now where people are really trying to figure out what fulfills them, where their talents and their passions kind of meet up, and figure out what they're good at and how they can then spend more time in that, maybe monetize it if possible. So how did you figure out that you were, or how did you know you were good at cooking and being a chef and all that other great stuff?
Well, I always loved to cook. I mean, I knew I was decent at it. I never imagined that I would be able to make a living at it because I was in sales my whole life. So I started teaching my friends how to cook on Sundays because we were all struggling with what are we going to make our kids? Everybody's on a different time frame. And so on Sundays, my friends would come over and I would teach them how to make like 4, 5, 6 different things, and everybody would go home with food and people were loving it. And then I started posting pictures on Instagram, and that's when people started reaching out to me. It's the power of social media,
Yeah.
And my first client, this was in 2019. She's still a client. She's a friend. And I just feel like obviously it's wonderful that I make delicious food. The way it makes people feel, the way it brings people together. I mean, that's really the essence of being able to do what you're good at and do what you love. And when you do what you love, I think it just shows. I had some friends in from out of town and I took them out to lunch, and this woman came up to me who I had just recently done a dinner for. They had arranged a dinner for their parents for their retirement after 40 years on their jobs, and they wanted to do something special. And she came up to me and she said, that night meant so much. It was so wonderful. We loved it. I really just wanted to come up and say hello. And my friends, who I haven't seen in 30 years, were like, this is more than just the food. This is the way it makes people feel. So I don't know, maybe a little bit of luck, maybe a little manifestation, just get to celebrate really wonderful things with people through food and conversation and making memories.
You said something that that kind of rang true to me because I have a sales team for myself, and I am continually teaching them, which in turn teaches me again how to do what I do and kind of go back to the basics of how I started, and we're always talking about that. The more I say it, that's the kind of learner that I am, is
Right.
that if I teach other people how to do something, it in turn helps me to realize some things on my own. So I thought that was pretty uh introspective for me, but also just kind of cool that that's something that started for you there. um did you what, back to the beginning of time, did you have influences, family influences that made you realize that you enjoy, knowing how to cook and enjoying cooking or baking or whatever it might be is different than being good at it, right? There's a lot of people who do it that don't love it, right? So I'm just curious, as you were growing up, did you find that you had family that was always in the kitchen and you would help and as a kid and stuff?
Yeah. I feel like my grandmothers were definitely an influence on me watching them cook and learning different things, Eastern European background. But my mom cooked, but my mom was more that person who ate to live. She didn't live to eat. She didn't
Mm.
love food. She was a very picky eater, and she would make the same things over and over again: steak, frozen broccoli, lamb chops. She didn't eat vegetables. I mean, she ate pickles, but she was not a vegetable eater, and she would make them just for the family.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like both my brother and sister and we all love to cook. And so our house kind of turned into the place, even as we got older, where we would invite our friends over and we would make these huge feasts. I remember Thanksgivings living in Florida, because I lived in Florida for 15 years, like having everybody at our place and just entertaining everybody and cooking for everybody. But like I said, I've been in sales my whole life. So I was in sales and I never even imagined doing this for a living. I honestly, like, I don't even know. And I feel like the better I get at it, the more fun it is. And then
Right.
I have a lot of clients who are specific about what they want. And so it gives me inspiration to try new things, because it can be, easy to just kind of make the same things. Like, what sets me apart is I don't publish a menu for the week and say, these are the 5 things I'm making. I ask my clients, what do you want? Some
Yeah.
will be specific and some will say, I'll have what you're making others. And then I get to do a lot of amazing dinner parties. And let's face it, like nowadays, everybody's got an allergy or a dietary restriction. So that's important for me to accommodate. Like, it is, I mean,
Yeah.
it's important for me to accommodate those people too. And
It's hard to do that.
yeah, it's fun. And I want to make it pretty and I want to make it festive. And, every day is a different day.
Yeah.
So
I
it's great.
was I was flying home. Joanna and I took our daughter to school. She's a sophomore in college yesterday, and on the way home, I was watching When Harry Met Sally, and on the plane, it's a great movie. I love it. And so, in it, Sally orders like everything on the side, and so particular. And that's how my whole family orders.
Right.
I order like that, so you have cooked for our family many, many times. And I would say that we're that kind of like, order this, but we want it done exactly like this with none of this,
Right.
everything on the side. You do an incredible job doing it.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so my point of bringing that up is it requires, so what's making, as you're talking, what I'm thinking about is when Harry is talking to Sally, he's like, you're the worst kind because you're high maintenance, but you think you're low maintenance.
Right.
When you're cooking for people, I feel like most people feel that way. They just want
Yeah.
to. So I have 2 questions. Did you realize that patience, does that come naturally, or did you know that had to be something that you had to infuse into your business? And then a bigger question is, you've said a couple of times, I never thought this would be a business. I never thought this would be a business. Why do you think the universe just threw it on your lap?
Right. Well, those are great questions. First of all, as far as patients go, I feel like I am gifted to have a very even temperament. And I think that helps in my business a lot, because things can go south quick and you have to learn how to pivot and adapt in any business. I mean, if I forget an ingredient or if I forget something, I am immediately Instacart, call somebody, or just improvise. And so people do comment to me in regards to that. They say, you're so calm in the kitchen, because especially if you watch TV, like The Bear, I love the show. It's always chaos and they're running around, and I like it quiet. I don't put a TV on. Maybe I'll listen to a podcast every now and again, but I like it quiet and it puts me in my own head. So I love that. And it's your other question, I wasn't consciously thinking this will never be my business or this will be my business. Life happens. And it came to me, and there was a need for it, and there was a request for it. And I just went with it. And I thought, wow, this is really, and somebody said to me once, they said, well, this is just a hobby. And I thought to myself, this is not a hobby. I'll show you.
Yeah.
And I was able to really create a wonderful life for myself and my kids, and offer me flexibility and financial stability and a chance to just start, reinvent myself at 55 years old. So now at 60, I have an amazing business. People ask me all the time, like, do you want to grow it? Do you want to open a storefront? Well, I can envision that, but it would have to be like all the stars would have to be aligned to do it. But I also love the flexibility about being able to say to my clients, I'm taking the week off and I'm going away,
Yeah.
and being able to, because I need downtime. It's very physically, it's taxing. It can be taxing on the body, the mind. I mean, it's very physical. I never worked harder in my entire life, but been very rewarded.
Yeah.
I think about so my mom died when I was really young, and we had this. I had our family is Hungarian, and I had this woman who came, and her name was Clara, and she was essentially my mother. She lived in my house till I was 18 years old. My mom died when I was 2 months old. But I subscribed to her. She was the most amazing cook, baker, all these things, right? And so like I learned that from her, and I really never, like it was so strange because she like had these recipes, and I have some of them. She's since passed, but I have these recipes, but I I don't cook that way. Like sometimes it doesn't turn out great. But
It's okay.
for the most part, I don't really, like I'll follow a recipe, and I can follow a recipe, and that's totally fine. But like a lot of the things that I'll make, I just like kind of do, like oops, sorry. I just kind of do like what, I don't know, like what I feel would taste good, and I like taste it along the way. And I like, so like I don't have that, like, I don't know, uh, the rules I necessarily follow, right? For, which you certainly have to. Um,
Sometimes.
but Right, correct. I would assume that for you, it's amazing when somebody comes to you and says, "Just make whatever you want." Right, like that's how I am. Like, listen, just cook whatever you think is great for us, and here's like some of the things that we like, and then do that. Right. What I thought was really interesting that you said was talking about reinventing yourself, because I feel like in my business every month, like me and my sales team get to reinvent ourselves every month, right? Because like the month went by, like maybe the month was good, maybe the month was bad, maybe it was great, maybe it was terrible. I don't know, just always depends. But like being able to reinvent yourself and like go down that path, I think is a really amazing gift to be able to do that. Because like, God, I don't know, if I didn't have that chance, regularly to do that, I feel like I might lose it.
Right.
So, right. Like, I mean, just being open and honest here, it's like, I might
Right.
like, it's stressful what we do. And I would imagine, kind of whatever it gets there, for you. You mentioned, you were talking also about, and I think this kind of is in conjunction with the reinventation of yourself, but like, being cool, calm, and collected, and like just okay, like whatever, easy breezy. Did that just come like naturally to you, or was that like something you learned from somebody you watched, or because for me it takes some work. I am not the cool, calm, and collect. Like I've over
Right.
time had to reinvent myself to continue to change and change and change, and just curious to where that came
Yeah.
up for you, if you saw it that from anywhere.
I would say my mom was more like the high energy, like focused, like, you know, but my dad was chill. My dad was really chill. So I don't know. I mean, I look back, I don't know, but now I look at my kids and I kind of try and identify like their personalities. Are they because of me or because of their dad? Like,
Yeah.
or just because of their surroundings? Um, I feel like I don't know. I used to not be this way, and I think raising kids, like it's just a different time in your life where maybe you had a lot going
Sure.
on or you had other stressors in your life, but this has brought out the best in me. And I will say another thing, because I was in the mortgage industry for a long time, so I understand what you do. And I also
Mhm.
I worked for BFI Waste and Recycling for 15 years in
Right.
outside sales. So I would say that it's about building relationships and about sharing,
Always, I think.
right,
John
with
would agree too, right? Like we
yeah,
all do that
building
constantly.
relationships, sharing what you're good at with others, because we can't be good at everything. I have a client who, she said, I don't cook. I am embarrassed that I don't cook. I said, well, first of all, that's job security for me. Just kidding. But I was
Let me
like,
teach you.
you shouldn't be ashamed of that. Like, you're good at a lot of other things. Okay. And like, that's why when we say like it takes a village, some of my clients are elderly people that don't cook. Some are clients that are corporate America, don't have time to cook, raising children. And then some just want a little variety as opposed to going out or cooking for themselves. So it's everybody. I would say, one of the most rewarding parts about this is people saying it was amazing, it was wonderful. But I also say, because I'm like, I'm only as good as my last meal, because I want it to always be good, that there's always room for improvement and feedback is critical to my success. And if we can open ourselves up and not take it personal,
Sure. Yeah.
because in your business you're building relationships with people, making sure people are happy. There's somebody else might come in and say, well, I can offer you this. Well, what about our relationship? What about,
Hmm.
that I want the best for you? And always be open to feedback, because sometimes people won't tell you and then they leave
Yes.
without saying why.
Yeah.
This is the world I live in. John knows this very well and works with my sales team, and because of the things that he's done and the process he has and the relationship that he has now with my sales team over, God, I don't know, we're probably approaching the 10-year-ish mark of him working with us. And I've known him for somewhere going on 17, 18 years. And I think that um God, the relationship part of it is such a big deal. And that is our goal, is to try
Yeah.
and create that for people, like, because they're less apt to leave you.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think
um
sometimes we are so busy working in our business, we can't work on our
on it. Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And, I would say that even in my 10-year stint at Quicken Loans, like I learned so much just about their isms and the culture. And I have to have a culture of my own also.
Yeah.
And, and just the way I work in my business. And, um, it doesn't matter what you do, but and you have to avoid, like really avoid the noise in the background and focus on what's good and not be
Right.
defensive and on the defense all the time. And John is a superstar. I mean, not only is he amazing at what he does, and I just adore you, John, but you're so genuine and authentic, and that is what draws people to you. I have somebody I want you to talk to, a college kid who can't find a job, or my own children, to help them, because our kids don't listen to us anyhow. So, but
Well,
you're amazing.
thank you. Thank you. I appreciate all the love. I didn't know this was going to be
It's a John Love
a
Fest here.
giant
It is.
It's a John
um,
Love Fest. I have the same
uh,
thing.
Right.
We have the same thing. I'm
Yeah,
sorry to
yeah,
cut
yeah.
you off, but you know,
Right.
John and I have conversations all the time that are like, you know, that I'm not paying for, you know, that are friendship conversations that are
Right.
just, you know, like he gets it, he understands it, and you know, we experience the same things and have fun together. And I think that you know, he makes me a better human being because I think about the way he does things, you know, and I'm like, God, damn it. Why was I so mad and angry at that person that I did this? And
Right. It's not worth it. And the
so
other,
it's
yeah,
not.
I
So
would say the other thing is there's other people that do what I do, and you know, we have to share the love. First of all, we're all busy, hopefully, and I'm always referring other chefs because I can't possibly do every single client or party or event. You know, they say you can't dance at everyone's wedding, but
right.
you have to be happy for other people's success. And
Yeah,
I think that if you have that in your heart, it comes full circle.
yeah,
I'm a prime candidate. I am. I'm like a prime example of that. It really does.
yeah. A couple things. I agree. First of all, thanks. Love you both. Just the same. Right back at you. But I want to comment on a couple things that I think are worth sharing. You talked about, you know, the noise, Marci. Steve Jobs is really noted for talking about the signal versus the noise. Jeff, you and I were talking about this.
Yeah.
Derek Dickow had an event where Mr. Wonderful spoke, and he talked about this. I actually wasn't at the event, but I've seen many clips from it. I wish I was at the event. I'll go next year. But, you know, Steve Jobs, 80% on the signal, 20% on the noise, I think is the stat. Like, focus on the top 5 things that you need to do for the day. I just want to kind of highlight that. But I also think, you know, one of the things that I have done over the many years to kind of calm my nervous system, I learned how to do this in my late 20s when I met Joanna. She was going to this holistic doctor, and he taught me how to meditate. And that has had a huge impact in my life. And I'm reading a book right now called How to Make a Few $1 Billion by Brad Jacobs. And I learned about the book through a podcast called Founders, and he reviewed the book. It's an amazing book. But one of the things he talks about, and he's a billionaire, is initially when he started working, he wanted to start working to make money to find time to meditate, because he found that meditation was such an important piece of his business. And where I find helps many people that I work with, including myself, is making sure that you have time for silence and reflection in between execution. Because to your point, everybody, if you're really working, no matter what you're doing, it's taxing.
Yeah.
And if you don't, especially in today's world that goes so fast, I find this for myself. You know, I had 30 minutes. A client moved a time today, so I sit in that chair and I meditate.
Right.
It was
Right.
great. So I just want to kind of say, I think it's so important, and I think sometimes people do it as an afterthought, but you really have to proactively plan it and make it part of your day. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, for me, I didn't really. I feel like I started talking about meditating with you some number of years ago, and I started to do it and was like, I don't like that. I mean, you know, like, who wants to be with themselves? You know, like for that period, like, nah, I'm out. You know, and then over the past few years, I've started to really get involved in it, and then over the past year more so, you know, it's like an outlet for me. And I think that it's helped me to get to a place where I can respond to people instead of react to a situation, because that's what I want to do. My brain tells me like, oh, he said that, boom, I'm on you. Like, you're not, you know, like that's how I feel about things. And how I feel, like, based on, you know, being able to take that pause and take a breath, is like, maybe it doesn't really matter that much. You know, like at the end of the day, okay, that's how I felt. Why did I feel that way? Like, did they mean that way? were they just being themselves and like that's just them, and who really cares? So I yesterday I was getting off my path of that, and yesterday I started again. And I sat there and I did probably like 25 minutes of this, where I like normally couldn't even sit for 60 seconds.
Yeah.
And like I went back to it, and I listening to these people, really it's all the same. It really makes so much sense to me after restarting over and over and over and over again, is that it's really just mindfulness. Like if I can just be present in the one moment that I'm in, and then that moment, which just happened now past, is and just continually try to be present in that, I think it's so it's wonderful. It like gets you to a place of like where you feel the way that you feel.
Yeah.
Marci, I don't feel that way all the time, for sure. I'm not the best at it. I do go through different iterations of like what it looks like, but I try.
And I think that part of it for me is preparation, because I mean, there are times where like you can't sleep at night. So what I do is, especially if I know I have a busy week ahead, and John has seen this before, but like this is my journal, and this is where all the magic happens. It's basically what I cook every day, what my grocery list is. So at night before I go to bed, I make sure I review my day ahead. And on Sundays, like my big prep day, and there's no days off. But with no days off comes patience, comes, being open for feedback and being able to sleep at night. Because if I don't do this before I go to bed, up all night thinking, oh, I have to add this to my list and that to my list. So when I wake up in the morning, I'm ready to go. Yeah. I'm ready to go. And
I feel like so much gratitude, right? For like the fact that you like, although it's like, you could look at it both ways, like, oh my God, I don't have a day off. Like, this is terrible. Or everyone wants me to cook for them and I don't have a day off because I'm so in demand. And like, this is amazing, right?
She is in demand. She's great. She's great. If you haven't had her cooking, you should.
Right, I'm going to hire her. That's my, my thing on this podcast is to commit to doing that. I would love for you to cook for us.
Yeah. Well, I would love to.
She's great.
I'm adding it to my list, so it's done.
Yes.
I just leave the food on your porch, and all of a sudden you've got like a delicious meal waiting for you.
I love it. Marci, you're gonna love it, Jeff. Before we go,
we're doing it.
I have one question for you before we go into a quick speed round. So I want to go back to the story you shared in the beginning about, everybody's life was hectic, blah, 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 making food for kids. And so I had everybody come to my house on Sunday night and I taught everybody how to cook. I really want to know what, because I think if somebody's listening to this, if the Think community is listening to this, they're probably thinking, I have had that idea multiple times, or fill in the blank, whatever the idea is. But you actually executed it, planned it, had everybody over, cleaned your house after they left, had, Dre. I mean, there's a lot behind this. Hey, come on over. 10 people come over and I'll show you how to
we're going to cook for you.
This, and this. So what was the driving force that got you to actually take action? Right? There's a riddle sometimes I tell when I'm speaking, and the riddle is, I say, before I get started, I want to have a riddle. 5 frogs are sitting on a log. 4 decide to jump off. How many frogs are left on the log? And everybody, I said, and I answered, 1 frog, 1 frog. But the answer is 5, because they just decided. They decided, but they didn't take action.
Right.
And so why did you decide in that moment to take action? Because that kind of was a, ish turning point.
I feel like there was a need for it. People wanted it. People asked for it.
Within you. Not
because I'm good at it. And why shouldn't I share what I'm good at with other people?
Right,
I was and I liked having people
What are you good at? We're here.
Exactly.
All right, there we go. You brought it full circle.
Full circle. I'm so happy you said that.
I mean, because I'm good at it and people want it. They were like, please, we really want to do it. And so I was just like, okay, let's do it. Let's put it on the calendar.
I love
And
it.
so we did.
All right, good. All right, speed round.
Amazing.
Your favorite food?
Ugh, people always ask me that. I would say, and now I really know the answer. My favorite food is brunch. I love brunch.
I
I
love
like
brunch,
something salty and something sweet. And I make an amazing creme brulee French toast. It's one of my like signature dishes.
Right.
Oh, you've had it before. Yeah.
It's
So
great.
I love brunch. Love
Yeah.
brunch.
I like brunch too.
I would have to
I
say
love
hamburger and
brunch.
fries, though. I love
Oh.
brunch. I love everything around brunch, the feeling of brunch, the family of brunch. But I would say a hamburger and fries would be
Where's
mine.
your favorite place to get a burger and fries local?
That's a hard question, but I'm going to say
It's not hard for me.
Little Bros, Little Bros in Royal Oak
Yeah.
is amazing, and of course Red Coat. And I actually really love Greek Isles has a great hamburger.
Really?
Great
I don't.
hamburger.
I really. I mean, first off, I think there's two different types of burgers. I think it's a
Smash.
slider and then a burger. So I think yes, or a smash.
I don't love a
I
smash
love to make
burger.
a smash burger, and I have like the appropriate tools to do so. So I love my own. But Hunter House is my favorite place.
Oh,
to get
Hunter House is great.
a
Have you had Little
slider
Bros? Have
situation
you had
that's-
Little Bros?
I
Unbelievable.
have not.
Have you had Little Bros, Jeff?
I have not.
So Little Bros is a place in Royal Oak. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Field trip.
Yeah.
Field trip.
All right, Jeff, you got a speed question for March?
Best like most God, I don't know. I think maybe the most influential person in your life as far as not even just cooking, but just best piece of advice along with that influential person that you've gotten.
Oh my God, that's such a hard thing.
Ooh, got her.
I mean, I would say like it's probably depends on the phase of my life. Watching others. I'll tell you, the most influential person in the cooking world to me, who I think I'm
Yeah.
very similar to, who I have a thing for, is Ina Garten. I think she's a normal gal who loves food, who really just is very natural. Like if you can find an environment to work in that you feel natural in, then it just exudes your expertise.
Yeah.
It almost
Yeah.
like it just exaggerates it because the passion comes out.
Yeah.
You know, as far as business goes and just like personality wise, my dad, like he told me at 15, like, I really want to get you a car, but like you need gas in the car, so you better get a job. Have a good work ethic, because
No,
if you
very
have
nice.
a good work ethic, you can do anything.
Yeah.
So I'm
That's
doing
great.
the right thing. I make sure my kids pay for their gas. So
Yeah, I mean,
I got them a hybrid, so that's a little off right
Oh,
now.
that's good.
So
Well-
we're working on it. It's a work in progress.
They have to pay for their gas, but you got them an electric car. That's a good.
It's not electric fully.
I mean,
yeah.
my parenting lessons are the same. Right. So, Marci, last question. One piece of advice you would give your 20-year-old self.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh, it's a good one.
It's just beginning. Like what you think is
Yeah.
going to be your life at 20 is you haven't even scratched the surface. You know nothing. You are a baby.
Yeah.
Just have good role models, pay attention to everything around you, have a high level of awareness, and just,
Listen to your parents.
Yeah.
you know, and the other thing is, I think one of the biggest problems with our young people, and I'm sure you guys will agree, is the technology. We get so, like, somebody asked me, oh, you should do TikTok. I said, I can't even get on TikTok because I will never get off TikTok.
Yeah.
We become distracted with things and we don't pay attention to what's around us.
Yeah.
I think you're cooking for people and you're in front of people. And that's the best thing that you can, like you can get in front of more people virtually, I guess. Right. But like,
for
I'm in the
what?
same boat you are. I don't love it. I like in person.
Yeah. And have conversations with people, meaningful conversations, and just be open to any advice that you can get. Whether you use it or not, it's a different story, but you'll remember it.
Yeah. My son just got his first job, and I tell both my kids this. I tell a lot of people who ask me this, but it's so important to surround yourself with the right mentors and have great mentors. it changes the game. It changes
Yeah.
the game. Marci, tell everybody where they can connect with you, who your ideal clients are, et cetera.
Well, anybody who loves food is my ideal client. Anybody who really is too busy to cook, or is having, an event, even just an intimate dinner party. But I have an event coming up next week for Make-A-Wish Foundation, which is very meaningful. I do a lot of fundraisers, which I love. Part of my mantra is I have to give back. Giving back is it's part of the deal.
Yeah.
And they can reach me at Marci's Kitchen 2020 on Instagram, and direct message me, find me, take a look at all my pictures for inspiration, and just don't be afraid to get in the kitchen and eat really good food.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't even really talk about food, but we'll have you back for another time to talk about food. But couple things. One, you've cooked for family events for my family. You've cooked for us personally. All the food has been incredible. You know how much we love you. Think community, a couple highlights. Marci shared a lot of great things and a lot of fundamentals, but just want to highlight a couple. Building relationships, reinventing yourself, share with others. Feedback is critical, and be happy for other people's success. I think, one lesson my parents always taught me, and I can hear it, but they have both passed away, is never be jealous of anyone. It will kill you. And it was some of the best advice, because it's really, it sings true. Jeff, I'll let you close, but Marci, I'm a huge fan. Think community, if Marci can help you, please reach out. Thank you so much for being on the show. You'll come back again. We'll talk maybe about food and other stuff like that. Jeff, I'll let you close it up.
Love food, by the way. I am like a food, that's, my wife yells at me constantly about, you show the kids that you love them from food. I'm like, I know, because that's just how I grew up and what I saw. And, I've never been around a situation where, I brought a whole bunch of family together or people together without there being food, right. And so there's a lot more to it. I think there's a lot of business savvy that kind of comes through this whole thing, and, talking about reinventing yourself and, just being, really being able to enjoy what you're doing is amazing. And I commend you for sure on that. It's so fun. And I don't think until we kind of started this and I saw, that it was you, I didn't know it was you. And so I was really happy to be involved in this with you too. Just thank you so much for being part of the show.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. So happy we reconnected, Jeff.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I will say this too, Jeff. I always over order. My kids know we go to out.
Oh my God,
so 19 entrees. It's I grew up in a house in the kitchen. Cooking food is a really important piece. And Marci, you fill the gap where maybe other people can't or are too busy, and you bring your passion to their kitchen table. So thanks, Mars. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Thanks
so much.
Thank you.
Yep.